Hello everyone. Welcome to Madrid Pulse. You got source of latest news, events, and everything happens in heart of Spain. Madrid understands everything. Too late. Ancelotti's men ended up very hurt after the defeat in the final, but understanding everything they had lacked during the season. But before continue, make sure you have already subscribed for getting more Real Madrid updates. If they scored 1 goal, it was fine. If they scored 2, it was fine either. This year they can't beat us, and that's proven, was Lamine Yamal's barb after defeating Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final. A little further behind was Íñigo Martínez, who didn't hesitate to put his finger on the white sore spot with criticism of Madrid's strategy in the run-up to the final with his attack on the refereeing team. "I think football won today, and that's what's important," he said from La Cartuja to put the icing on the cake for the third Clásico of the season. 3 tough defeats in the Clásicos, with 2 titles at stake, Spanish Super Cup and Copa del Rey, and a scoreline, 12-4, that reflects the harsh reality of Madrid. One that at 10:45 p.m. on Saturday, when the referee sent the game to halftime, increased while a team, which last season lifted the Champions League and La Liga, wandered around the pitch before reaching the gallows in a state of suffering and desperation that led the Real Madrid players to activate survival mode. "We were very close, but we have to keep fighting and struggling. We did well tonight. There's nothing to reproach the team for because we gave everything we had. If we had won, it wouldn't have been a scandal," confessed Ancelotti. And Madrid has understood everything. Too late. Cornered in a season that was meant to be historic, the Real Madrid players have finally understood everything they have lacked during the year when the final grades point to a general disaster. Ancelotti, after almost the entire season already played, seems to have finally found his formation, despite confessing several times that it has always been his favorite. The 4-4-2 with Mbappé and Vinicius, and a line of 4 midfielders that help find the balance that has been so lacking this season. A ray of light to take refuge in the truth is that if last season Real Madrid did find that famous balance between defense and attack, this season it has never happened, or only rarely. All that offensive power, which has also been too erratic at times, was rendered meaningless by the enormous defensive weaknesses of Carlo's men. Every quick transition by any opponent became a real nightmare for a team in which the forwards have forgotten or have not wanted to defend as a unit. With the midfield weakened, the pieces that have been rotated in the starting 11, those up front being healthy, were unable to rotate and were unable to stop the opponent. The consequence? A sold-out defense, to which we must add that the defenders have not been very successful either. As things stand, the change of formation has given the team more solidity, and also allows them to attack with more order and dynamism. The 75 minutes of total football, 45 minutes of the second half, and 30 minutes of extra time in the Copa del Rey final are a ray of light to hold on to for the rest of the season in La Liga, and with the Club World Cup as the final point to a season that the White Club started with the dream of winning the first 7 titles in the world of sport. It seems crazy to imagine that the coach with the most titles in the history of Real Madrid, 15, is in question. But such is the immersive madness that Real Madrid fans always live with. A noise that has never affected a coach who has always taken all the criticism with great calm, but who, almost for the first time at Madrid, decided to make the early changes that he is not used to making, so that his team could complete its best football of the season. What's more, according to data from B-Soccer Pro, the Italian had only made 12 changes in the entire season between the 50th and 60th minute, and made 3 in the Cup against Barca. Ancelotti decided to push forward, which made Flick's team uncomfortable, knowing the strain it would put on his team and the gap it would leave on the counterattack. This boldness, never seen this season, brought out an unprecedented collective talent. They retreated well to the Barca counterattacks and knew how to exploit the spaces to generate their own counterattacks, led by Vinicius and Mbappé, which drove the opposing fullbacks crazy. This, if we had won, it wouldn't be a scandal sentiment should fill Madrid's players with optimism as they fight for La Liga. And the final Clásico of the season.